Hey guys, GNT here, and today I'm be doing something a little different than usual, you know. This is something that I used to do with manga, not with regular American comics, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comics, because I have just finished reading Volume 2, because I'm getting these in volumes. I'm not buying individual issues. I refuse. Like, there's way too little in the individual issues to buy them separately like that, you know? But anywho, I just finished Volume 2. I'm eventually going to get to Volume 3 whenever. I might do it after I finish this video. But anywho, let me stop getting distracted and rambling. Ugh. When I read Volume 2, I figured this is a nice spot to actually sit, get my thoughts together, and talk about this book a little bit. Well, this series, I should say. Volumes 1 and 2 cover issues 1 through 8, I believe. And with just those 8 issues, we get a lot of dope stuff in here. Now, here's what inspired me. Oh, by the way, if you haven't read the books, spoiler warning, because I'm talking about it. It's nothing too crazy. Like, I'm assuming that the story's really about to get going in Volume 3. And, you know, I could tell you the stuff that happens in here and it won't ruin you reading it, because it's nothing that's like, oh, big reveal. I mean, technically there's like one thing in here, but other than that. So for the most part, it's just, it starts after Sonic Forces. You know what, as a matter of fact, I think I'll use Sonic Forces for my background video footage here, because, you know, I have physical comics, so I can't like put up images of junk because I don't have any. But it starts right after Sonic Forces, picking up with the Batniks, which they're calling them Batniks right now. I don't know how long they're going to be doing that, but that's what they're doing. They're all around and they seem to be organized, and Sonic and the gang are trying to see what the problem is, wipe them out, you know, stuff like that, usual Sonic junk. And Sonic just goes from place to place, and they're trying to figure out, well, who could be organizing these spots, because we just beat Eggman, you know? And the reveal isn't until quite a few issues in. But, you know, you basically, it's all this feels like introduction for, you know, people who haven't really played the games. You don't really need to actually go and play a lot of the games, but you know, you need to actually kind of want to see Sonic in a comic to read this. That's one thing. You can't just pick this up and have never seen anything Sonic, or never played anything Sonic, watched anything, read, whatever. You can't just go in here just like, hey, I'm picking up a random comic, because this is definitely a Sonic fan type of thing, because goodness, there's quite a bit of fan service in here. Like in the second volume, close to the end, like he says, he says, oh wait, let me not get to that. That's gonna lead into something else. I'll wait on that. But yeah, he goes through, he meets you know, multiple members of the Resistance, because that's still a thing. I mean, I guess because the Batniks are still around, there's still a Resistance. I was about to say there shouldn't be a Resistance without Eggman, but, you know, all you did was knocked off the top of the tower. You still have to deal with the rest of it, I guess. So, he bumps into random members of the Resistance and, you know, different buddies and stuff. It's pretty decent, pretty good, pretty dope. They have little battles with the Batniks, and there's not much to go into detail with here. Like, that's it. They battle Batniks, you meet up with buddies, they have little chats, just talking about how's this going on when they defeated Eggman. And then you do get to run into a new character, and I believe her name was Tangle, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, I got the book right in front of me. I can open it up and listen to those pages turn. You probably can't because they're behind the mic, and you don't usually get much noise from behind the mic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yes, no, maybe? Let's see. Boom, boom. Tangle, yes, Tangle the Lemur. I was making sure that I got her name right, because I do like this character. Although she was only in a couple of pages, like they didn't do much for her at all. But I believe that there's a separate book with Tangle and another character that I'll get to in a second. But yeah, Tangle comes out and then she has this tail hand. It's some weird junk. Like I don't know exactly what's going on with it. It looks like it can stretch because at some points it's longer than others. And she like uses it to fling Sonic and Blaze. By the way, Blaze is in here. Dope. Nice to see Blaze. You don't ever get to play her in the games these days, but it's cool to see her in the comic. You don't get to really play with anybody outside of Sonic in the games these days, but that's besides the point. You get to see everybody in the comic. But yeah, Tangle, she has this weird, like, stretchy tail that has, well, it doesn't have a hand on the end, but when it needs to be a hand, it looks like a hand. It's really weird. But yeah, Tangle's a cool character. I'd like to see more with that character, so now I'm thinking about getting a book. I'm gonna look that up real quick while I'm still sitting here talking. Yeah, so cool character. It's pretty much all I got to say. And that was the first volume. It ends with Tangle and Blaze and Sonic. And they defeat Badniks, and Sonic goes on about his business. And, you know, they end it with a shot of Eggman. Because, you know, the freaking Eggman's supposed to be missing, right? So it ends with Eggman. And you're like, oh, well, I wonder why Eggman is showing up here now. I wonder what he's doing. And then you get to volume 2, and they're like, yeah, you know, we're going to bring in Team Chaotix. Yes, they're detectives. You want on your side? Yeah, they bring in Team Chaotix. And they've been like investigating the doctor's disappearance. And they lead Sonic to this town where he's been staying and apparently lost his memory, which I didn't buy at first. I'm still kind of not buying it because it's Eggman, but for the most part they're doing a really good job of convincing me that he doesn't actually have a memory, but he's been doing nice things for the kids, you know. He out here in these streets trying to help these kids, you feel me? And oh goodness, he's sitting there trying to, you know, prove it to Sonic. Well, he's not trying to prove anything to Sonic. Sonic is trying to prove that he's basically lying. And he's like, hey, you still remember? You're like bad to the bone. Bad. I'm sorry, I am cracking myself up. This shouldn't be happening. I'm just, it's so fun. You don't understand. The book is so much fun that I just can't stop being happy while talking about it. But yeah, Sonic is trying to prove that basically Eggman is full of crap and he still remembers everything and this is just an act. He sees that, you know, it tends to be legit, for real, and he just lets it go. But as he's letting it go, Shadow shows up, and I'm like, ooh, now the book's getting good. We got my boy here, Shadow. All hail Shadow. He's like, oh, doctor. And, you know, he walks up, like, of course, convenient timing. Eggman is talking about, let me show you, what do you call it, Eggman Land? I believe that was the flip. I'm trying to think, I think that was, colors? Sorry, I'm a little fuzzy on it. I think that was the color setting, right? Anywho, he brings that up, and as soon as he brings it up, Shadow shows up, and now he wants to get Eggman, and Sonic and Shadow have a nice little battle there. It's really dope. Like, it's the stuff that I like to see in a game. I'm like, man, this comic is feeding my inner fan. This is what the games don't do. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel special. Twice reference. Anywho, yeah, so they have their little battle and stuff, and Sonic convinces Shadow to let it go, you know. It looks like another Love TKO. So nobody's gonna get the reference. Anywho, he basically convinces him to let it go by telling him that, hey, Shadow, you used to be a bad guy, and you turned over a new leaf. You're good now. We trust you now. So Shadow lets it go, and they go and see this whole Eggman Land thing, and it's just a little amusement park he's building for the kids, because he's trying to help the kids out here in these streets. And yeah, after that, Sonic just leaves it alone. They all kind of leave it alone and go their own ways. And Sonic ends up with Tails. It was a weird cut here. Like, I guess if you're reading like issue to issue, it's not as crazy, because you know how comics are. When you're reading different issues and one starts up at a different spot from the last one, it's not as jarring, because let's just be honest, you kind of don't remember the last book for the most part when you're reading comics, because you usually like wait a month between them now. It's like, I kind of remember what happened in the book, but I don't remember how it ended. But with this, when you're going through a volume and you go from one page to the next, and at one you see that that Sonic is leaving from where Eggman is, and then when they start the next issue, he's on the tornado with Tails. It's like, what the duck? How do we get here? But yeah, he goes to the dang fortress, flying fortress, and inside he runs into what appears to be Eggman, but he had just left the actual Eggman, so he's like, clearly you're a fake. And it turns out that it is Neo Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes. Boom. My goodness. And that's when I knew that fan service was cranking up to 11. Because now everything seems a little bit more fan servicey after they showed Neo Metal Sonic. Because he was like holding freaking Sonic, and he was like, you're about to fall. And Sonic was like, I never fear the fall. I was like, oh no! In his world! Never fear the fall. I was like, no! No, they're referencing songs now. That was good. That was good times. Then another time in this, he was he said, you're too slow. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing now. We're a reference book now. It's a good thing I like references. This book is perfect for me. Like, there are a couple of parts where it trips up and it's not the greatest thing. Like I said, that jarring switch from one thing to the next, but that's more of an issue thing than an actual story thing, I guess you could say. But yeah, so after that, we run into Silver for a little bit, which is like the last issue in this volume 2. Silver is, I don't know. Silver seems a little weird, because all that I know of Silver, all of what most people know of Silver is Sonic 06. And in this comic, he kind of has a personality. Like, he was more like, on the mission type thing in 06, so you didn't get much of his actual personality going in there. But here, he shows up and he's kind of like a freaking fanboy, which is kind of weird. That's like one of the things that I didn't really care for all that much. It was interesting. I didn't hate it, but it was just weird the way he was acting. Because he was saying that his future was really bleak. Like, nobody was around. There was nothing but like metallic plants and stuff. And you would think he would come back being like super serious, but he was kind of jokey, and it was weird. But other than that, it was fine. He was talking about how there was this guardian who helped people during the war that they had in forces that nobody actually really saw, because the game just kind of skipped over it. It was like Eggman took over, and now we're breaking out Sonic. So yeah, he was explaining how this guardian was helping and saved his life multiple times. I'm like, Silver, are you really slipping that much? That you have to have somebody just constantly saving you? But again, it's whatever. not even that attached to Silver anyway. So the Guardian turns out to be a character called Whisper, and when they were trying to talk to her, you know, she was like Whisper, and they had the little dots around the text bubble, which I'm assuming means that she's whispering. So Silver was like, okay, but I don't see why we have to. And Sonic is like, that's her name, you idiot. It's like, it's weird. Silver just seems to be a complete moron. Now in 06, he was kind of dumb too, but still, not to this extent, not to this level of idiocracy. Like he seems like, his personality kind of seems like what Tails' personality should be for Tails being a young member of the group, you know? Like, whatever. Anywho, what I'm trying to say is he's acting of way too young, I guess. Too young and dumb. It's kind of hard to explain without, you know, somebody actually knowing what I'm talking about, having actually read it. So if you guys have read it, you know, just go ahead and tell me how you feel about Silver down in the comments below. And yeah, you get introduced to another character who is Whisper. We haven't seen much on Whisper, but she looks like my type of character. She's like, she's all quiet and she likes being alone. I was like, oh, this character is perfect for me. We need Whisper in the games now. Tangle and Whisper, which by the way, yes, they do have a comic together, which I'm gonna have to get that too and read and check it out because I do like those two characters. They seem pretty cool. And I'm just hoping that they weren't only introduced to have that spin-off comic, because that would suck. You know what I mean? I want them to be involved in the story of this main comic, but who knows? Not me. I don't know at all because I'm still going through this and trying to catch up. Goodness. And yeah, so anywho, you get with Whisper, and that's pretty much the end of the comic. Like, no joke, that is pretty much the end of volume 8. They just check well, actually, they check a computer, and the data on it is telling them basically about Neo Metal Sonic and how he has the Master Emerald. Like, that's the last page. You get him sitting on a throne on top of the Master Emerald. It looks dope. Like, that is the art in this series is amazing, phenomenal. It's real good. Like, every page is wonderful. And there's different artists and stuff too, so you get different styles, and they're all good, which is crazy. Because usually when reading comic books, you get a bunch of different artists. Sometimes you'll get a style that just is awful. Especially now with the way comics are, because comics kind of suck now. You usually get some art that's just absolute garbage. But with this, everything just seems to be amazing. It's crazy. It's really good. Great read, volume 1 and 2. Highly recommend it. If you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. It's good. Like, at first I didn't want to get it because I was like, I don't feel like paying for this book, because, you know, I'm cheap. I was like, I don't want to buy this. But it was quite worth it. I had a really good time reading both volume 1 and 2. Volume 1, seeing as it was just basically a big introduction and getting you used to the characters and introducing you to all the different characters. Because, like, when they introduce new characters, they have their name and their title there, you know, so you can learn about them just in case you're not a huge Sonic fan, or if you are just a normie to Sonic, you just show up for games occasionally and you don't know the characters. They have all that there so you can know who these characters are and basically what they do by their title. These descriptions are great. And so for the first volume, as an introduction, I'd say it was a 4 out of 5. And for the second volume, it had a lot more going for it, but the whole silver thing, like, I don't know, maybe there's some other media, there's some other media out there with silver in it, and this is the way he acts. And here's the thing, I haven't played like 06 in over 10 years, so maybe he did have some type of personality like this in there that I'm not remembering, but it was just kind of weird. It just doesn't seem right. Anywho, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me sitting here just rambling about the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, because I had a really good time, so I felt I should talk about it. And depending on how well Volume 3 is, you might get another one of these videos. Of course, it'll probably be shorter because I wanted to talk about 2 volumes at once. And man, this is great stuff. And it is what it is. It's great. Like, people are like, oh, well, I don't like as much of the old comics. Well, I only read a little bit of the old comics, and I wasn't too attached. And I think that's the thing here. Like, if you're not attached to the old comics, this is amazing. If you are, then you're probably holding a bias for the old ones and you're not able to get over it. Like, I've had that with a lot of different stuff that I like. I couldn't get over the old stuff, so I couldn't enjoy the new stuff even when it was decent. Like, there's some stuff that where the old stuff is just better, but there's some things where the new stuff is decent and it's just hard to get over the fact that it used to be better, you know? So anywho, I think these comics are great. I think you should give them a shot, give them a read if you haven't. And yeah, freaking the comics are using the characters way better than Sega is with the games. So that's probably where most of the enjoyment comes from. Also, there were 2 more characters introduced in this book. I forgot to mention, I just thought about it, because I was sitting here, I have the dang Amazon pulled up and I'm looking at the page, the covers for all the different volumes that are out, because they have up to volume 7 out, and volume 8 comes out in March, and volume 9 apparently drops in November. God, that's a long wait. Sorry, that threw me off. But as I'm looking at these covers, I saw these other 2 characters that that appeared in volume 1, and that was Rough and Tumble. They didn't do much. They kind of just got stomped by Sonic and Knuckles, so there wasn't too much there for me to remember. They didn't leave that big of an impression. However, they do seem interesting, but that's it. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys also just, you know, give the Sonic the Hedgehog comic a chance. It's pretty dope, and if at some point it becomes trash while I'm reading it, I will definitely make another video and let you guys know. Anywho, peace out and have a supersonic day.